Cheesecake Factory. This is actually one easy money stock in my opinion right now. They came out with earnings here just a bit ago, and I'm very happy with their earnings. Okay, this isn't the main stock we're talking about that is the easy money stock, but Cheesecake Factory, love this one. Valuation is just extremely compelling, just a straight value dividend play in regards to this one. Their numbers were incredible, absolutely incredible. I posted this up in the Discord chat, going through their numbers essentially. My gosh, okay. So obviously their revenues grew substantially year over year from $793 million to $866 million of revenue, right? But in terms of food and beverage costs, they kept that in line, which is not easy to do in this environment, folks. Labor expense, they actually were able to bring that down as a percent of revenue. Oh, okay, that's really impressive. Other operating costs and expenses, they were able to keep that roughly in line, right? General and administrative expenses, they were able to keep that in line. Depreciation and amortization kept that in line. And so look what happened to their income from operations, right? It went from 3.6% to 3.9%. But look at the dollar amount that changes just by a small amount. When you have your revenue go up and you have your percentage get a little better, I mean, you're talking about $5 million plus there in terms of income from operations going up. And look what happens to your net income. Your net income went from basically 2.9% to 3.2% of revenue, right? To then now $28 million plus in net income from about $23 million. So almost $5 million up year over year as far as net income. And EPS was up even a more substantial percentage. So my gosh, folks, I was very, very happy with these cake numbers. That's executing well. I felt like Texas Roadhouse was definitely beating them, which Texas Roadhouse is another stock I personally own in my my dividends only account. I do own that in the Patreon portfolio, if I recall as well. But this was just, I was just thrilled with this, okay? And the beautiful thing with Cheesecake Factory is just last year, they brought back their dividend, okay? So basically, for every share I own, I get paid 27 cents every 3 months in just dividend money that comes in that I can go ahead and reinvest into other stocks. And I believe they're going to up this dividend substantially over this next few years. Substantially. Obviously, they'd cut it for a while there while they were going through Rona, which is natural. And so before Rona, remember, they were paying a 36-cent dividend. My opinion, they're going back there. And it'll probably happen within the next 2 years. And then ultimately, it's going to move to 40 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents, if not more, per quarter, in my opinion, over this next few years. So I'm really, really thrilled with this. And last thing I want to cover in regards to Cheesecake Factory, they have a cash balance of $116 million. They have a revolving credit facility available at $239 million. The principal amount of debt outstanding was $475 million, so that I don't like, including $345 million in principal amount for convertible senior notes due 2026. So their balance sheet, not as good as a Texas Roadhouse. That's their weakness versus a Texas Roadhouse. No, they have bought some stock back here. They just bought about 341,000 shares back. And I understand the stock's really cheap, so it kind of makes sense to buy the stock back. I would rather them use that money to build cash position right now, or potentially even pay down debt, do something like that. For right now, that would be my preference rather than buy back shares. I understand it's cheap. I would just rather have them cash stack for now. There's already returning money to shareholders and paying the dividends, okay? So they're already doing that. So in my opinion, just stack money for now. Stack money. Do that thing, okay? So that's my opinion there. Do I like that Cathie Wood is buying back in of Palantir stock? What does that mean to me, okay? The first thing is, if you had to ask me, would I rather have Cathie Wood be an investor of the stock or not an investor of the stock? I would rather her be an investor of the stock than not be an investor of the stock, okay? The bottom line is, when it comes to Cathie Wood, having her on your team is a good thing, okay? And I understand how bad her performance was in 2022 and how much all her stocks went down and those sorts of things. But you got to understand that was a very freakish market. You got to understand the market we are in. 2021, the ultimate hype cycle, the ultimate, growth to the moon, and we know what that market was, okay? And so it set Cathie Wood up where all this money was inflowing to her like crazy in 2021, and she was buying into her stocks that were at ridiculous valuations, right? And then there was the crash of that, the come down, and it was a 2-year come down of that. Now at this point in time, almost all of Cathie Wood stocks have already bottomed or they're in a bottoming out process. So in my opinion, I think momentum will actually pour into Cathie Wood and her stocks and her fund over this next, I would say probably the next 24 to 36 months, in my personal opinion, okay? And I think Cathie Wood's going to get hot again, and I think a lot of momentum's going to continue to. Now, when she sold out of the stock, to be honest, never made sense to me why she would sell Palantir stock. If she was worried about profitability, she could be also worried about profitability with all her other stocks out there, okay? And Palantir's always been much closer to profitability than a lot of her stocks are. And she is supposed to be always somebody that's forward-looking. Innovation, right? Innovation, innovation, innovation. For her to have sold that stock made zero sense. Like Palantir is the, in my opinion, one of the most phenomenal companies in the world. If you want to bet on innovation, if you want to bet on AI, you bet on a stock like Palantir. It's a company at the cross sections of data and artificial intelligence and working with governments and commercial customers. And so for her to sell that stock, it never made sense. It never made sense to me. And her buying back in makes perfect sense. If she wants to be seen as the person that's innovation, if she wants to be the one that's seen as the companies on the forefront of technology and all these incredible things, you better be in a stock like Palantir. Otherwise, you're just missing an incredible opportunity here. Like, what are we doing? Like Palantir, you do any study on this company, you know they got a best of breed product. This is the one, right? And if you want to be in the type of stock that has that sort of Tesla opportunity, it's a Palantir. Not many stocks have that sort of opportunity, right? Palantir is one of those few. Now, something that's not going to be talked about nearly as much that I think needs to be discussed in regards to Cathie Wood buying back into Palantir. A few fronts. One is, I wouldn't be surprised if she continues to buy a lot more shares. You might see, she bought 4 million shares here so far. Great. That's a phenomenal start. I wouldn't be surprised at all, folks, if she doesn't buy tens of millions of shares over the next few months. I don't think she's just going to buy this and it's a one and done 4.3 million shares and I'm good. I can see a scenario where she'll buy tens of millions of shares over the coming months and over the coming quarters. And I don't know if there's going to be a time period when she's done buying it, especially the fact that now they're to profitability, right? And she understands this kind of exponential ramp that happens with companies. And when you have a company that flips from losing a bunch of money to then, break even, to then, profitability, to then that massive expansion like we should see in Palantir over this next 24 to 36 months in their profitability, that's when you get, obviously, stock prices to go on those hundreds of % runs, okay? The second component that I don't think is going to be talked about enough, and this is very important, okay? Very important to have Cathie Wood as a friend in this situation. Cathie Wood is always talked about. Even in 2022, when she wasn't hot anymore, she's still a subject of conversation. She's still going on CNBC. People still discuss her and debate her, and she's bad, she's good, she's, doesn't know anything, she's a genius, all these different perspectives, okay? The fact is, Cathie Wood makes headlines. And at the end of the day, the Palantir story needs to get out there on a couple fronts. One is you could look at it from the stock price, the Cathie Wood talking about it more, especially if she continues to do good. It'll bring more fund managers to look at it. Maybe a Ron Barron looks at it very in depth, right? Maybe other investors look at this more seriously and consider an investment in Palantir, which is obviously phenomenal for the stock price. But also remember, who watches all these channels, the CNBCs, the Bloombergs, all these different places, Yahoo Finance, whatever, that Cathie Wood goes on? Well, guess what? A ton of higher net worth individuals do. That's attractive, but also executives of companies also love to watch these networks, okay?